Namaste and welcome to Pramanik Astrology channel. And in this stream, we are going to talk about Saturn conjunct with Ketu. When you have, okay, so in this stream, we are going to talk about Saturn conjunct with Ketu. If you have any question, please share your question in comment section. We will we will cover your questions once we cover what are Ketu and what is this conjunction of Saturn and Ketu. And if you're watching this as a you're not watching it as live, you're watching it as a replay, the second part of this video will be question and answers. And in the first part we'll talk about Saturn and Ketu. Okay, Saturn is the planet which brings in the restriction in your life. It brings in responsibility, delays. Saturn is also the planet of longevity. It is the planet of it is also the planet of time, Kala. Okay. And Saturn is often misunderstood, but I personally feel that Saturn is the planet of success as well. Saturn makes you realize certain things in life and makes you work toward those achievements. It makes you achieve those things. Okay. And what is Ketu? Ketu is the planet which is about the orthodox planet, which is about the previous life, which shows things which we have already achieved in the previous life. Ketu also shows the internalized energy. So Ketu is considered as a spiritual planet. And in the scheme of Rahu and Ketu, Rahu is the head of the Swarabhanu and Ketu is the body of the Swarabhanu. So Ketu does not have a head. So Ketu does not have a direction in life. So Rahu and Ketu are always 180 degrees opposite of each other. So always look for the Rahu house and the Rahu sign and its Lord to see your future, where you have to be in this lifetime. Ketu is the planet of the previous lifetime, and now in this lifetime, it will make you go towards the Rahu house. So when you have Ketu conjunct with Saturn, the first thing which is obvious about this conjunction is maturity. The spiritual planet like Ketu, which is internalized energy, which always thinks about the self, doesn't mean they are selfish, but they always are thoughtful about what they do. Okay, so Saturn Ketu conjunction makes a person mature person. Ketu is internalized energy and Saturn is restrictive energy. So this combination brings in certain kinds of burden in one's life. What kind of burden? Depending upon the house, wherever you have Saturn and Ketu placed in your life, you will feel this burden in your life. And this burden will bring you maturity in life. Okay. Saturn Ketu conjunction also said to bring Vairagya. Okay. This is Vairagya. I don't have the right word for the Vairagya, but it brings in the Vairagya in one's life and it makes you feel that detachment from the worldly life. On the downside, it will make you neglect your daily responsibilities because you're so much into spirituality, you're so much into the other world that you forget about this. The detachment is to the next level because Saturn and Ketu are, you know, we often say that Jupiter is the planet of spirituality. To some extent it is true, but if you have Saturn connected with, when it connected with the 12th house, when Saturn Ketu conjunction is in the 12th house, it brings in the real, it brings in the real spiritual element in one's life. And Saturn is a planet which is disciplined. So it shows that a person who has Saturn and Ketu conjunct makes that person into some spiritual practice and discipline, and following that practice with discipline for longer period of time. This is what we can see with Saturn and Ketu. Saturn and Ketu also, by the way, if you're getting value from this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Okay. Now the point is, another thing with Saturn Ketu is uh, these people are quite picky, and these people can have a great eye for detail. Whatever they do, they will have an eye for the detail. Okay, this is how these two planets, this is an interesting combination to have. Okay, on the negative side, it can also bring in certain kinds of pessimism in life. Okay, when 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 this when this spiritual, when this spiritual understanding or spiritual maturity is not handled properly, you can feel depressed, you can feel the pessimism. I won't say depressed. For depression, it moon also has to be involved in, but it is more about the pessimism in life. Ketu is about things which he has already done and like to cling to it. And Saturn is also a planet which is about restrictions and which delays things. So this is a slow and thoughtful conjunction. Saturn also brings in responsibilities, and Saturn is the planet which shows authority and your rights as well. And when it is conjunct with Ketu, it shows that you are a kind of a person who always want to control things. Okay, Ketu Saturn conjunction is all about the control or controlling the situation. Like, if you have Saturn Ketu conjunction placed in your chart, you will always feel that you should be in control of the situation, because in previous lifetimes, maybe you always had this you always had this mm, you always had this base for you, that as long as you are in control of situation, you will be all right. And that has been into your psyche for long, and that gets reflected into Saturn Ketu conjunction. saturn ketu conjunction Saturn Ketu conjunction is also about more than more than the more than all other aspects which we discussed. It is mostly about maturity of the person. Okay, it shows that person with the Ketu and Saturn conjunction is mature in his life. And what makes you mature? Experiences. So these people have greater experiences, wide variety of experiences, because these people at one point of time in life has to believe in God. Okay, here's the thing in Saturn Ketu is a spiritual conjunction, but it is control freak. It always wants to be in control, and that doesn't happen. One day or the other they have to believe in the other things, the supreme things, God, religion, spiritual, and that is the transformation. That's the Rahu part they have to follow. So if you have Saturn and Ketu conjunction, it is also about Rahu and Saturn opposition. Yes, so Saturn Ketu is all about this. And if you want to know more about this, let me see if I can share the screen here. Let me make this as the ascendant. Okay, so if you just look at this, this is the day, and I have rotated the chart to the Saturn Ketu, right? So here you will see that Ketu is conjunct with so many planets, especially with Saturn. Okay, those who don't know what conjunction is, when you have Saturn and Ketu placed in one house, this is the house. Okay, this is the house, and when it is placed in the houses and in a close degree with each other, it is considered as a conjunction. Okay, those who are new to Vedic astrology, or those who are not aware of the concept of conjunction is when two planets are placed close to each other within 30 degrees. Okay, some planets are at the edge of the houses, at the end of it, and some of them are close. Okay, in this case, let's say the sun is far away. Sun is in third degree, 42 minutes of Sagittarius. Okay, so let's say this is the complete 30 degrees. So sun is placed in somewhere here, 3 degrees, and Saturn is, excuse me, sun is somewhere here at the beginning of the Rashi, and Saturn is at the 23rd degree, at the very end, last few degrees of the Sagittarius. Okay, let's see, this is Saturn, this is Sun, right? So this is not a close conjunction. This is a loose conjunction, because this, and you will be surprised to know that this Saturn can be conjunct with this Venus, and this sun can be closely conjunct with this Mercury. You have to check the degrees of this along with the degrees of the ascendant, and that will give you an idea about what exactly is the conjunction of the planet. Okay, so the numbers you see right after the planets are the degrees of the planet, and these are the conjunctions. And then we are talking about the Saturn and effects of Saturn and Ketu conjunction today here. Okay, let's talk about it. Let me do it. Okay, so now let's take a question. So we have a super chat here. Raghavendra Sarva. Saturn Ketu conjunction in the sixth house, Scorpio. Okay, I'll be reading the questions one by one. First, I'm reading this from the super chat. By the way, if you're watching this video and if you're getting value from this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Okay, so Raghavendra Sarvaji, Saturn Ketu conjunction in the sixth house of Scorpio. Raghavendra ji, do you mean in Scorpio ascendant or in the Scorpio sign? Raghavendra ji, I'm just waiting for your response. You have Saturn Ketu conjunction in sixth house of Scorpio ascendant or in the Scorpio sign for the Gemini ascendant. Please share that. It's in Scorpio sign. Okay, thanks. So when you have Scorpio is a very interesting sign. Scorpio sign is a very interesting sign for very interesting sign for Jupiter and Ketu. Okay, Ketu is the planet which can go either way in Scorpio. Okay, so for this you need to check the Lord Mars, its placement. But as a standalone placement, Saturn does excellent into the sixth house. Okay, Saturn will give you great results in the sixth house. When it is conjunct, like say, when you have Scorpio, Ketu, and Saturn conjunct in the sixth house, Saturn is ruling the eighth house and the ninth house. So, eighth lord in the sixth house is it shows that you will have gains from inheritance, but at the same time, it also shows that you have great work ethics. Saturn Ketu in the sixth house shows high level of work ethics. Sixth house is the house of your work area, your daily routines. And when you have Saturn Ketu conjunct here, it shows disciplined person and person with a high level of work ethics. But at the same time, you have to be easy with your subordinates. Okay, Raghavendra ji, you have to be easy on your subordinates all the time. Why? Because not everyone has high level of ethics. Okay, not everyone is as workaholic like you do, because Saturn and Ketu, like Ketu is mindless. He doesn't think twice. He will keep on working. And Saturn is a slow and disciplined planet who always like to work. And sixth house is a upachaya house, which keeps growing, which keeps improving with the time. Okay, so this is the house of constant improvements. Okay, so this is what Saturn Ketu in the sign of Scorpio represents. I hope you have got your answer. If you still have any question, please share. Okay, now I'll be reading the questions one by one. Okay, and if I receive a super chat, I will read those as well. Okay, Namit Sata, sir, great work, thank you, Namitji. Sejal Singhwala, hello sir. Chanik, hi. Sejal Singhwala, is Ketu and Mars are same? Okay, it's, you will always hear that Ketu is like Mars and Saturn is like Rahu. In a way, it's true, because Mars is an energetic planet which is all about the Mars is an energetic planet which is all about vitality, enterprising, and it's about the energy and doing things. Okay, and Ketu in a way is also about things which we have achieved in the life. One of the name of the Ketu is Dhwaja, which means flag. And when do we flag? When we conquer something, we put our flag there. So Ketu is like a Dhwaja. So whatever sign placement you have in this lifetime, look for the qualities of that sign. Let's say you have Ketu placed into the sign of Leo. So what it shows is, in the previous lifetime you have mastered the Leo qualities, like creativity, self-esteem, self awareness, loving yourself, and all the Leo qualities you have mastered it. So in this lifetime, you have Ketu placed in there. So you will rely on those qualities. Why? Because you have already mastered them in previous life. And that is the real meaning of the sign placement of the Ketu. Okay. So yes, in a way, Ketu and Mars are same. You're right. Saharida. Good evening. I have Ketu in the Aquarius in the eighth house. What is the significance? Do you have this along with Saturn? Please share, Saharida. Guys, and if you're getting value from this video, please hit the like button. Okay. Lokesh Jena, I have this conjunction in 11th house. I'm Taurus ascendant. So it goes into the Pisces sign. So now you have Pisces. Now you have Pisces, Saturn Ketu. Okay. Here, when you have Saturn Ketu in the Pisces sign, you will observe that it is also about the spirituality. Saturn and Ketu are about spirituality, and the Pisces sign has the elements of the 12th sign. 12th house is about moksha and moksha trikon house, the ultimate enlightenment house. So when you have Saturn and Ketu placed in there in the 11th house, shows that you will be drawn towards the institutions, to the larger groups which are involved in the spiritual activities, which are involved into the esoteric activities, or maybe involved into the activities around the spirituality, like yoga, meditation, and all sorts of things wherein a disciplined spiritual practice is followed. Vishnu Priya Panda, hello sir, what is the result of Ketu Saturn conjunction in the fourth house? Raghavendra Sarva, sure, thank you. Thank you, Raghavendra Sarvaji. I'm super grateful for your super chat. Okay, thanks a lot. It helps. Okay, so next is, hello sir, what is the result of Ketu Saturn conjunction in the fourth house, Gemini, for Pisces ascendant? When you have Ketu Saturn conjunction in the fourth house, it shows a lot of pressure around your mother and your relationship with your mother. Okay, maybe your mother is disciplined for you, and you may not like it when you're in your early life. Okay, so yes, it shows a difficult relationship with your mother, and at the same time it shows the need to understand your emotions well for yourself. Sejal Singwala. Yes, I read in book Kunja like Ketu Saturn like Rav. Yes. Arun Bhavami, it brings celibacy. Celibacy is more like a brahmacharya. Vairagya is something different. So Vairagya is detachment. Vairagya is when you don't feel any attachment or desire for material longings or material things, to possess material things. Okay. Harish Paramwa. Hello, sir. Hello, Harish ji. Deepa Chaudhary, if Saturn is in nakshatra of Ketu like in Ashwini. Okay. So when Saturn is in the nakshatra of Saturn, it will also bring in the same effect, but the conjunction is more intense. Nakshatra is specific, but it's subtle. Like it shows that connection between Saturn and Ketu. It establishes the connection to through Saturn and Ketu through the nakshatras. But when they are conjunct, it's like two energies are involved directly. Soham Dunake, Saturn Ketu conjunct in the eighth house in Pisces sign. It's a good placement, and it shows you will have gains from your career. Okay, 8th house is 11th from the 10th. Saturn will aspect the 10th house from here. Saturn is the planet of karma. Okay, it shows you will rise in your career with you, and you will have slow and steady growth in the career. Okay, Chanik 29. But Rahu and Ketu are retrograde always. Ketu is a dull planet. Mangal is Chanakji, yes, I said there are certain, these are two different planets, like, and they have certain qualities in common. That is it. Okay. Next is Cafecito di Vesi. Thank you for this video. Thanks a lot. I'm super grateful for you being here. I'm thankful to everybody who is watching this video. There is a reason why you are watching this video. And guys, if you are learning something new in this video, put new into the comment box. And don't forget to hit the like button. Put new in the comment box. How many of you feel that you have learned something new today? Please put in new into the comment box. I want your I want your involvement into this stream. I want you to participate in the stream. Yes, Neha Shetuji saying new, Vinay Joshi saying new, Kevin Rocks new. Excellent. Thank you guys for participating. I really appreciate you guys. Vinay, Vinayji, Neha, Kevin, thank you for participating. I really like this participation. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Harish Paramva, I'm very much happy to watch in live. Okay, great, thanks. Neha Shetuji, does the conjunction effect hold true or has some effect when exalted Saturn is aspecting Ketu in Sagittarius? The See, there are two things. Right now, we're talking about the conjunction. Planet can be associated with other planet with four ways, either through the conjunction or through exchange or through aspect or through the Kendra Sambandha. Okay, or through the nakshatra exchange, like Ketu in the Saturn's nakshatra, Saturn into the Ketu's nakshatra. Okay, but the aspect of Saturn will have its own effect, but exaltation of the Saturn will be analyzed separately. We don't consider it as uh, while considering the aspect apart from the Rashi aspect of it. Okay, as in we consider the exaltation of Saturn just to identify the Rashi it is aspecting. Okay, I hope you got the answer. Aditi Banerjee, if Saturn Ketu conjunction is in the 8th house in Pisces sign, how is it work? I think today is the time, today is the day of Ketu conjunct Saturn in the 8th house. How many of you have Saturn and Ketu conjunct in the 8th house? Suraj Kumar is saying new. Vinay Joshi, thank you, sir. We are grateful. Vinayji, even I'm super grateful for your participation. How many of you have Ketu Saturn in the 8th house? It will be interesting to know. How many of you have Ketu, or put in your Saturn Ketu house placement? Just put in number here. What is your Saturn Ketu placement? In which house you have Saturn Ketu placed in? Just put in that number in the comment box. Just put in number, just a number. Like Pooh Bear's corner you have in 12th, just put in 12th, in 8th, so that it will be easy for me to see the pattern. How many of, yes, 4th, 12th, 1st, 6th, 7th, 7th, 11th. I assume all these are Saturn Ketu conjunction. 10th, Vinay Joshi. Pooh Bear's 12. Yes, that's it. Just the numbers. Excellent. Rishi Prasad 4. Abhinav Sharma 12. Vinay Joshi 10, Kevin Rocks 11, Ankit Jain 12th, Dance Queen 6th, George Edward Tiger 5, Jazz 8th, 10th, excellent, 7th, 9th. So which one do you think is common? Which one is repeating more? I want to see the pattern. Guys, if you're getting value from this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Saturn-Ketu 3rd, 9th, interesting. Shashan Prapt Ankik 9th. Adrika Roy 8th. What is Ketu in English? Ketu is south node of moon. We're talking about conjunction of Saturn with the south node of the moon. Vinay Joshi 10. So which one you want me to look into first? In the 8th house. I see a lot of 8th house conjunction. 9th, 12th. Yes, thank you, Kevin. But I have to remind everybody else. Thank you. 8th, Khalid Bhatt 3. Interesting. Santosh Acharya 9th in the 12th zodiac. Sushant Patil 12. Abhinav Sharma 12. Excellent. 12th, Ankit Jain. Okay. Okay, so I'll just cover some of the questions and we'll go through those numbers again, and then I'll be covering the Saturn-Ketu conjunction through some of the houses and how do we analyze that. Okay, if you have any specific question around that, please share that. I'll be going through that question. Okay, so I was here with Aditi Banerjee, we did. Raghavendra Sarva, we did. Ashu Gautam, good to see you, sir. Ketu and Saturn in the 4th house. 4th house we already discussed. And Kevin Rocks, I have Ketu conjunction in 11th house Taurus. We discussed that. Dipti Sharma, Saturn Ketu conjunction. The Bhava Chalit, will it give the same results? Dipti Sharma ji, we have already talked about it. Let me see if I get this. Let me see if I can get the Bhava Chalit chart here. Not the Shripati. I want the equal Bhava. All right. So if you look at this chart, you will see that here this Ketu, this Venus has moved to conjunct with Ketu, and this Sun and Jupiter has moved into this house. So when we are judging Bhava Chalit, I think that's what your question is. Saturn Ketu conjunction in the Bhava Chalit chart. So always look for the Bhava Chalit chart is, as the name suggests, it is for the Bhava. Bhava Chalit chart shows Bhava. So what you have to do, you have to take the Bhava from the Bhava Chalit chart. What is the Bhava placement of the Ketu? Just write it down. Then what is the Rashi placement from the Rashi chart? The name of the chart is Rashi chart. So Rashi should be, you have to take Rashi from the Rashi chart. Okay, and write it down a sentence. So you will have Ketu placed in so and so house. Take the house number from Bhava Chalit, and in so and so Rashi, take the Rashi from the Rashi chart, and it will give the result as per that placement. Okay, Bhava Chalit chart shows the placement as per the degrees. Okay, and that is the real placement of the planets. Next is Pancharatan Subbu, retrograde Saturn with Ketu in the 11th house, Pisces. Again, I see a lot of Pisces Saturn Ketu today, and Saturn Ketu into the 8th house. That's what broadly I'm feeling that. For Taurus ascendant, we already discussed that. Like if you have Saturn Ketu connected with the 11th house, it shows that you will be connected with the spiritual organizations, the organizations which are connected with the masses, and also with the spiritual practices like yoga, meditation, camping, and things like that. Abhinav Sharmaji, retrograde Saturn with Ketu in the 12th house for Aries ascendant. See, now when you have Saturn and Ketu into the 12th house, it shows that you will be disciplined and well directed towards the spiritual practice. You will have a maturity. Saturn Ketu, the first thing which comes in my mind when I look at the Saturn Ketu conjunction is the maturity. These people have next level of maturity when it comes to the life. And whichever house it is placed in, they will exhibit and show their discipline through that house. Okay, so for 12th house is the house of spirituality, spiritual practices. Okay, apart from that, if you want to know more about the 12th house, go and watch my 12th house, bhavat bhavam of the 12th house. Okay, because 12th house, we say 12th house because we count from the first house, but if we count from the second house, 12th house is 11th to the second, and second to the 11th. It can be 5th to the 8th, 4th to the ninth, 6th to the 6th to the 7th, and so on. So each house has many dimensions. Don't just restrict it to just one area. We count from ascendant, that's why 12th house is 12th house. But anyway, when you have Saturn placed into the 12th house along with Ketu, it also shows that you have to be careful with your sleeping patterns. You have to take enough, you have to take enough sleep. Okay, because Saturn is a planet which will make you stay awake. Okay, even if you're going through Sadesati, or if you're going through even favorable period of Saturn, the first one strong indication is you start staying awake for long. Okay, it makes you stay awake for a longer period of time, and then when you're awake for a longer period of time, it affects your sleep. So for Saturn Ketu in the 12th house, take enough sleep. Vinay Joshi ji, good evening, sir. I have this conjunction in the 12th house, Pisces, again a Pisces, with Jupiter in the 7th house. I am Gemini ascendant. Okay, so your ruler is in the 7th house and is well placed. Excellent. So when you have Ketu and Saturn placed in, see, Saturn loves to be in the 10th house. Of the Saturn is the karaka of the career or work. So when your karaka is placed into the 10th house, it shows that you will be you Vinay Joshi ji, you are a man of work. You always want to work. And when Saturn is placed in here, it shows you work relentlessly, but at the same time, it shows you have great sense for details, and you have to be easy on yourself, because these two planets, they don't spare anyone. when you have Saturn, because their work ethics is so high, they don't even spare themselves when it comes to work. Okay, so be easy on work, subordinates, and yourself as well. Guys, if you're getting value from this video, please hit the like button. Next is Aditi Banerjee. Sir, please tell the effect of Saturn Ketu. We already discussed that. Okay. Ankit Jain. Sir, I have this conjunction in my 12th house, Pisces, Aries, and now Mahadesha is running. Okay, we discussed this. Saturn Ketu in the 7th house of Pisces sign in Virgo Ascendant. We'll discuss about the 7th house for sure. Let me just read the questions. If anybody else has this, then we will consider them as well along with this. Vani Samalla, sir, what if Saturn Ketu conjuncts in the 9th house for Cancer Ascendant? See, when you have Saturn Ketu placed into the 9th house, it shows that you might face disappointment with your parents. Okay. Vani Samala, please share if this resonates with you. It also shows you will have very little friends, and at the same time, it shows you are spiritually inclined. Jazz, I have this conjunction in the 12th house. Again, the 12th, excellent. Rabi Chaudhary, did you already speak about Ketu and Saturn conjunction in Nakshatra ruled by Ketu? Yes, we did. Adrika Roy, Ketu in the 8th house, Sagittarius ascendant. Yes, we discussed that. Kevin Rocks, new, I have Saturn in the 11th house. Yes, we discussed that. Excellent. Marush Modi, Saturn Ketu in Dushtana works good. Okay, let's talk about Saturn Ketu in Dushtana houses. Let's say you have Saturn placed into the 6th house. I think we discussed about 6th house. Have we discussed about the 6th house? I'm not sure if we have discussed about the 6th house. Okay, so next thing is, what are the next questions? I see a lot of 8, 9, 8, 3, 8, 8, 9, 12, 9, 9th in mean. Tambeji, my Saturn in Ketu in 12th mesh. We discussed about 12th. You just can go a few minutes back and you will get the explanation. Jess, 8th and 12th common. I didn't get you, Jess. Suraj Kumar, sir, please take my question. What was your question? Did I miss your question, Surajji? I think I covered all the questions. Please 10. It's utter confusion. Dipesh Gulranjani, Ketu and Mercury in the 8th house. We discussed about Ketu and Mercury in the separate stream. You can go and watch that. Yasmin Moznar, hello, thanks for all of your knowledge. Thank you. I'm super grateful for your kind words. Tutul Relay, if Saturn is retrograde, when Saturn is retrograde, it adds strength to the conjunction. Okay. Whenever you have a planet a retrograde, it simply means it becomes powerful. It has nothing to do with its goodness or its effect. It's never impact its effect. Okay, so simply being retrograde doesn't mean it's bad. It simply means it's powerful, and to some extent it's unusual as well. So any, let's say you have 10th lord in 11th house, or let's say in the any of the houses, 9th house, 8th house, first house, and and retrograde. What it shows is the 10th lord is getting the retrogression. So you will have unusual career. You will have unusual way of paying off your karma. And similarly, you can apply it to all the houses. But it makes it strong. Retrograde planets are strongest. It increases its cheshtabala. In Shatabala, cheshtabala is the retrogression of the planet. So it is not something to do with the goodness or uh, the strength of the planet, but not strength. It's not about the to judge the goodness of the planet, but to judge the strength of the planet. Adrika Roy, first house Saturn, Mercury, and eighth house Ketu of Sagittarius ascendant. Rabi Chaudhary, eighth house I hear is where Ketu is like in its element though. Ketu is about hidden and inaccessible things, right? And eighth house is about hidden things, unseen, occult. Saturn in the eighth house, natural karaka. Yes, when you have Saturn and Ketu in the eighth house, these two guys, wherever they go in deep. Saturn is not Saturn is a serious guy. Saturn is an old wise guy. He's not like a Mercury. Mercury is an easy going, fun loving guy who will simply go and learn something to, to have its knowledge for fun. But Saturn is serious about it. If Saturn wants to get knowledge about something, he will he will take its time. He will take notes. He will back test things. He will analyze things. He will see what's happening in, and he will apply his wisdom, experiences. He is honest, hard worker. Saturn. Saturn will take an effort to make the difference, to bring in that change in reality. Okay, Saturn is a genuinely hardworking planet. So when Saturn and Ketu are placed into the eighth house, Saturn simply loves going deep dive into the eighth house of occult mysticism, astrology, psychology, and all things buried underground. Okay, so yes, Saturn Ketu in the eighth house is very good combination for spirituality and occult and mysticism and astrology. Next is Karishma Devangan. Hello, sir. Hello, Karishma ji. Maha, 7th. Yes. Suraj Kumar. Sir, my Ketu Venus Rohini Nakshatra conjunct in my Lagna, Vrishab Lagna. Your last video I have seen, but this is not discussed in the first house. Yes, sometimes I forget or sometimes those questions doesn't come up. So we don't discuss that. So you can put this comment into the Venus Ketu conjunction video and we will answer that as well. Okay. Gangadhar M. Sir, Ketu and Saturn conjunction in the 7th house. For Virgo ascendant, how is the marriage life? We cannot really say anything with this, but for Virgo ascendant, Saturn rules the 5th and the 6th house. Okay, so the 6th lord is coming into the 7th house. So the 5th house is also connected with the 7th house, and 6th house is going into the 7th house. So it shows that you have to be careful whom you connect with for relationship, because you might connect with someone who is uh, you know who is not compatible with you. Okay, that's what 6th house is, the house of enemies, and 5th house is the house of love. So the 5th lord, 6th lord is coming into the 7th house. So you might connect with somebody or love somebody who is not compatible for you. So be careful with that. Okay, so next is Dance Queen. I actually don't even see now. So I don't even see I don't even see South Node in my chart. I only see North Node says South Node is in Cancer. Dance queen, just check what's happening in the Capricorn. Maybe in Capricorn you will see the south node. Karishma Divanganji, Saturn Ketu conjunction in the fifth house of Pisces. So many Saturn Ketu in Pisces. Amazing. Okay. So when you have Saturn Ketu conjunct into the fifth house, first thing it shows you are not interested into a partner who is not spiritually inclined. You will always want a partner who is spiritually inclined, and you would want to have a children with a partner who is, you have a spiritual connection with that partner. And this is the reason it is going to delay your relationships as well, because from the fifth house, Saturn aspects the seventh house of the horoscope, which is the house of marriage. From fifth house, Saturn also aspects the 11th house of the horoscope, which is the house of your desires and gains, right? And from the fifth house, Saturn also aspects the second house of family, right? So Saturn is dealing all these houses. So it shows that there will be delay in your marriage. Okay. But at the same time, it also shows that you will have huge material gains, especially financial gains. Dipesh Gulrajni, Ketu and Mercury in the 8th house. We discussed in the earlier video. Vinayji, in 10th house in Pisces sign with Jupiter, I feel the obstacles at its best in anything. I didn't get you what you mean by I feel the obstacles at its best in anything. Dipti Sharma ji, thank you so much. Thank you, Dipti ji. Next is Pooh Bears. Yes, Ketu and retrograde Saturn in 12th house. Yes. Santosh Arya, Acharya, my findings. Pooh Bears for Aries as in Khalid Bhatt. Saturn Ketu, Jupiter in the third house of Capricorn sign. Divya R. Okay, so when you have Ketu, Saturn, and Jupiter placed into the third house, where Jupiter is debilitated and Saturn is in its own sign, and now these two planets are controlling the Ketu, what it shows is it shows you will rely on your intellect. You are a kind of a person who is very difficult to conquer in debates, and you may not even believe in astrology. Khalidji. Divya are retrograde Saturn and Ketu conjunction in the seventh house for Aries. Rabi Chaudhary, wouldn't we have to look at Varga Vimshopaka and Bala for the result of Saturn through, since science is exactly that's what I said. You talk about the you talked about the retrogression of the planet. That is just the one part of a Shadbala. It's one of the fold of the Shadbala. Shadbala is six folded strength, like motion, timing, Kala, Bala, Naisargik, and uh, Chesta. All these things comprises of Shadbala. Then you, as you said, Vimshopak Bal, you can also check. Okay. So you have to analyze it. You have to add more and more clues to your interpretation to make it concrete. Next is Tutul Relay. Retrograde Saturn conjunct Ketu in the second house in Pisces for Aquarius. One more Pisces Ketu. Amazing. I'm loving this. So when you have Saturn in the second house, Saturn and Ketu in the second house, it shows that you have to be careful with your words. Don't hurt anybody with your sarcasm and with your words. To Tutul Relay. Jazz, how does it affect the sign if, for example, Libra is in this 12th house? When the sign of the Ketu and Saturn conjunction shows two things. First is how the Ketu is behaving, and if that Lord is conjunct with Ketu. When we have, let's say you have Ketu conjunct in Capricorn in the 12th house. So what is the big deal about it, or what is the significance of it? The significance is Saturn is ruling the Ketu, and now it is with Ketu. Let's say you have Saturn Ketu conjunct in the sign of Capricorn, or in the sign of Leo. Capricorn we discuss, Leo or Cancer. So what it shows is Saturn is ruling the Rahu house and is conjunct with the Ketu house. So it changes your interpretation completely, because now the planet which is ruling the Rahu is conjunct with the Ketu. So the theme of unlocking this chart is will be operated through Ketu. We often say that follow the Rahu, but if the Lord of the Rahu is conjunct with Ketu, we follow the Ketu. Sounds complicated, but it's not that complicated. Next is Pooh Bear's Corner. What if the that conjunction in the 12th house opposite Amar? See, now you can add many more layers to it. Like, what if you have what if you have debilitated planet connected with it, or what if you have two more planets connected? It will keep on changing. Okay, but whenever it is aspected by any other planet, this conjunction this conjunction will get affected, because it is already getting aspect from Rahu. Okay, so if a planet is aspecting it, it will be conjunct Rahu. Okay, and if these two planets, like Rahu Ketu, conjunct the planets and are placed in on the Kendras, these can bring in the Raj Yoga as well. You will see this in the chart of Michael Jordan, or you will see this in the chart of many other celebrities as well. Okay, so yes, this aspects will change the game. Priyanka Gandhi ji, what if conjunction in Navamsha in the fourth? We are not talking about Navamsha because it is derived from the fourth. It is derived from the first house, but you can apply the same thing into the D9. Okay, sir, my Ketu is in Rohini conjunction video, but did not discuss it. Yes, you can apply. You can put that in the comment section. Okay. Anamika Banerjee, is this live? Yes, this is live. Guys, if you're getting value from this video, hit the like button. I keep on repeating this because those sometimes people join anytime and sometimes we forget to hit the like button. This is the confirmation for me that you like the content. Okay. So please hit the like button. So next is Yasmin Moznar. Does Saturn also expand Ketu as much as Jupiter expand Ketu when they are together? What I mean is, does Saturn expand Ketu in a positive way or hurt it more? When Saturn and Ketu brings in these, whenever we judge any, whenever we judge any conjunction, always consider them as, what they have in common and what clashes they have. Like if Saturn and Ketu, I don't know what do you mean by Jupiter will expand Ketu, but whether this Saturn will hurt Ketu or will this Saturn will help Ketu depend upon the condition of the Saturn and condition of the Ketu. Okay, so you will always hear that if your Saturn or Ketu are working from the higher plane. What do you mean by working from a higher plane? It simply means that it's well dignified, well aspected, well placed, and having involvement into the powerful yogas, and they have connection with the Vimshotri Mahadasha, Charadasha, Karakamsha Lagna, Swamsha, and so on, then they are working on the higher plane. Okay, so I hope I have answered your question, because uh, I did not understand your question fully. Okay, so if you still have any query, please share your question or further query right here. Abhinav Sharma, yes, I barely get any sleep. Your interpretations always resonate with me. Thank you so much for the time. We have learned a lot from you. Abhinav Sharma ji, thank you. I'm super grateful for your kind words and you sharing time and space with me live right here. I'm super grateful. And take enough sleep. Make an effort to take an enough sleep. Okay. Rabi Chaudhary, 10th house is also Upachaya house, right? So it's get better with time. Of course it does. 10th house is also Upachaya house and it gets better. That's why any planet is welcome in the 10th house or 11th house. Even if you have malefic, like let's say you have Saturn, Mars, Rahu conjunct into the 10th house, excellent. You will get something good from all these planets, because 10th house is about the work. This is the wild competition. You have to be ruthless and you have to count, like you have to prove yourself, otherwise you'll be kicked out. Okay, so Infinity Warriors, Saturn Ketu conjunction in ninth house. Where did that question go? Infinite, yes, Saturn Ketu conjunct in ninth house for Cancer ascendant, and Jupiter in the seventh house. Saturn conjunct Ketu in the ninth house for Cancer ascendant will go to Pisces again. I think this is the day for Pisces. Okay. In the seventh house, yes. Khalid, but Saturn Ketu conjunction in the third house of Capricorn. Khalid, I think I shared with you already. Okay. Vinay Joshiji, thank you, sir. It was speech perfect. Thank you. Excellent. I'm happy that it helped you and it resonates with you. Khalid, but Saturn Ketu conjunction with Jupiter in the third house. We discussed about this, Khalid, but Tutul Lele, Tutul Rele, Saturn retro with Ketu in Pisces. Ketu in Pisces again? What's happening today? Vani Samela, absolutely true in case of friends and spirituality, but I maintain good relationship with my parents. Good for you, excellent. Inferior, true about Saturn conjunct Ketu in the ninth house for Cancer ascendant. Yes, thanks. Okay. So to relay Saturn retrograde in the Ketu. We discussed about that. Vanilla 7, disappointment regarding one matter. Kevin Rock. So this combination gives spiritual interest. Does this help to give mantra siddhi? Mantra siddhi is something different, and it has for mantra siddhi there are specific yogas as well, but it it involves the fifth house. I will just give you a clue. Okay. And Ketu is about these spiritual practices, but I'm not going to share that exact yoga for the mantra siddhi. Vinay Joshi, thank you, sir. Does this combination causes delay in career if placed in 10th house? It shows slow and steady growth in the career or rise in the career. Okay, but you will be workaholic for sure. Divya R. Ketu in Saturn retrograde in the 7th house for Aries ascendant. Then Barnashri Khasnobis, please make a video on Rahu in Trikon with Moon. I'm Kumbha Rashi Tula Lagna. Yes, sure, we'll make that. Sanjay Chudasmaji, sorry if possible. What about Ketu and Saturn in the 6th along with Sun, who is Lagna Lord? I'm not able to visualize it right, but 6th house Saturn Ketu, we have already discussed about it. But if it has involvement of the first house Lord as well, it shows that your life focus will be on the 6th house things, like working for the underprivileged people, serving other people, doing like daily routine things. Next is Saturn Ketu. This is Satyabrat Pati. Saturn Ketu conjunct in the 7th house in Aries. Vani Samalla. Vrishchik Lagna, Saturn in the 6th house. We discussed that. Shreyas Pednekar, Ketu in the 11th house, Aries sign. Yes, we discussed that. My Saturn is in 6th house. We discussed the 6th house. Sir, actually you're making video on Ketu Saturn, but if you don't mind, I have one question. If Ketu is in first house in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra in Aquarius and Rahu is in Purva Falguni Nakshatra 7th house Leo, what does it actually tells? It is not today's topic. We will talk about when you'll talk about nakshatra. I know you're talking about the opposite nakshatra, or you have some specific question. You can ping me or DM me on uh, Instagram. Okay. Apologies, I could not answer you here. Just be with me or ask me on Instagram. Vinay Joshi, sir, is ninth house Lord Saturn in the 10th house with Ketu for Gemini ascendant will form a Raj Yoga. Excuse me. Will form a Raj Yoga with Jupiter in the 7th house. It's really confusing how to interpret it. All see, any connection of ninth Lord with the 10th house is welcome. Okay, so your bhagya is connected with your karma. Okay, so it's always welcome. So Jupiter into the 10th house. See, 7th house is also 10th from the 10th. So 7th house is the ultimate Bhavat Bhavam house for the career. So you have 10th Lord placed into the 7th house in its own sign. And now this Jupiter in the 7th house will also be aspected by Jupiter. Excuse me, will be also aspected by the Saturn from the 10th house. Saturn has the 10th house aspect. So 7th house is 10th from the 10th. So it will be aspected by the Saturn from the 10th house aspecting the 7th house Jupiter. So now the ninth Lord, which is connected with the Saturn and Jupiter as well. So yes, it is a well placed Saturn, I would say. Karishma Devangan. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you. Khalid, but many thanks, sir. Thank you, Khalidji. Gangadhar Gangadhar M. Thanks for the reply, sir. Thank you, Gangadharji. Shreyas Pednekar, Ketu Antardasha results. Antardasha or dashas are very difficult to interpret, but there is no one line answer to it. There so many things go in to analyze that. I don't have a one line answer for Ketu Antardasha. Maybe one day we'll do a live session for specifically for the dashas. Self-anime pleasures. I have Ketu and Saturn in the 7th house for the Shamsha in Capricorn. The Shamsha is altogether different. We're talking about D1. My Ketu is conjunct with Jupiter in the first house. We have already made a video on Jupiter conjunct Ketu. Okay. Priyanka Daveji, I have Saturn Ketu conjunct in ascendant. Excellent. Poof Bear's Corner. Thank you, sir. Pooh Bear's Corner. I would have liked multiple times if I could. Don't like it twice. Okay. Now, third is Shreyas Pednekar. Do Ketu degrees matter? Absolutely. Most importantly, the degrees of the ascendant matters. Any planet which are close to the ascendant degrees will become powerful during their dasha, antradasha, transit, returns, all those events. Kartik Iyer. In D1 chart, Ketu and Saturn are conjunct in the second house. Of Pisces? Really? I'm just getting all the Pisces Ketu. This is unreal. There is something with the Ketu in Pisces for me, it seems. In Bhava Chalit chart, Ketu shifts to third house. How will the effects be? I think at the beginning of this stream, I have already discussed about Bhava Chalit chart. Okay, Bhava Chalit chart. Simply take the Rashi from the Rashi chart, Bhava from the Bhava chart, bam, and see the effect. Okay, this might be confusing initially, but it's clear and very simple. Rashi from the Rashi chart and house Bhava from the Bhava chart. Write it down and you got it. Cafecito with Vesi. What about Saturn Ketu in ascendant with Jupiter as Rashi Lord? Now, this becomes too specific, but I'm not able to visualize or, getting any quick answer here. Apologies for that. Asti Ashita Rao. Hi, sir. Hi, sir. Actually, I have Saturn retro in Pisces again in Nakshatra in 21 for Aquarius ascendant and Ketu in Lagna moon in Cancer. What does it mean? I'm not able to visualize it. Okay. Harris Khan, sir, if there is one sky, why we have two zodiacs then, Western and Vedic? It's like understand Western and Vedic astrology like a credit card. Okay. The Western, like you make the payment at the 5th of the month. I make the payment at the 29th of the month. Okay. That doesn't mean I get more time. It doesn't mean you get less time. It simply means your cycle is at 5, my cycle is at 29. It's as simple as that. Okay. And we have two zodiac times because there are two different reference points for the rashis. Okay. So there are some points which are like equinox, which are based on sun's movement and season, and there are some movements with the sidereal, okay, which is about the nakshatra. Okay, but there is much more to it, and if you want to see it, I have already made a video on tropical versus sidereal. You can go and watch that video. That will help you. Okay. And I never look down upon Western astrology as it doesn't work or something like that. It has fascinating and many more techniques, and many of my friends follow that as well, and it works for them. For me, this method works. Okay. It's not that it's not that Western astrology doesn't work or something like that. It's not there. Ankit Jain, Rahu Saturn Dasha going on till 2023. Saturn Ketu conjuncted in 12th house. Aries ascendant 12th house. Pisces again? Oh my God. and have dual thoughts about everything, having arguments with all. Ankit ji, Tanmay Mukherjee, if the conjunction is in the 6000 D9 chart, how it will impact in marital life of a person if Jupiter and Rahu and aspects from the 12th. So, if you just talk about D9, it doesn't make any sense. You have to first look at the D1, and in the context of D1, check the D9. Okay, and if you want to know more about it, just go and watch my D9 video, wherein we have discussed about how we can interpret and change the planets from the D9 to D1 to D9. Okay, see what happens is, even if you see a conjunction in D9 chart, okay, let me show you this. See, this is the D9 chart, and let's say you are looking at this conjunction. You see this conjunction here, right? Sun, Moon, and Mars conjunction, or let's say Rahu and Venus conjunction. And if you ask me, sir, what is the Rahu and Venus conjunction in the 12th house means in D9 chart, I would say I don't know. Why I would say I don't know, right? Because see, in the D1 chart, you will see that Rahu is placed in here and Venus is placed in here, and they're getting conjunct here. If I don't know this story, which houses Venus is ruling, right? And why this is connected, how this conjunction is derived from the D1 is super important. That's why I never jump into the D9 and say anything about it. You have to have the understanding of the D1 chart first, then only you can predict about the D9 chart. Okay, so always refer to the D1. Okay, and let's say, let me tweak this birth time if possible. Let's say, I'll just stop this, edit this, and move. Okay, so you got the point, right? It is all about, just allow me 1 minute, I'll be back. Yes, I'm back. So, point was that you have to think about the D1 placement, and then only the D9 placement will make sense. Like we talked about that Rahu Venus conjunction. Rahu was placed into the 8th house and it was placed into the 3rd house. Then it came into the 12th house of the D9 chart. Okay. So you have to understand what and how they have come into the D9. Next is Sai Ganesh Shritharan. How is Ketu and Saturn in the 8th house Pisces? I mean, are you guys with me? Again, a Pisces? I don't believe this. Guys, if you're getting value from this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Ketu and Saturn in the 8th house. We talked about Ketu and Pisces in the 8th house. Okay. See, Saturn, see, 8th house is about the occult mysticism. Ketu is also about spirituality. Saturn likes to deep dive into all this. Why I'm why I'm talking about all this, because I have already covered this. Okay, so you can go and watch that. But it also shows interest into the alternate medicines as well, like pranic healing, Reiki, and all kinds of that stuff, energy medicines. Kevin rocks. I have learned many things from your videos. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. If possible, make videos about yogas of Mantra Siddhi, because many spiritual people are following your videos. Heartily thank you. Kevin rocks, thank you. If you want to know more about the yogas, I would recommend your book called 300 Important Yogas, book by B.V. Raman. Okay, you can go and read that book. You will get it on Amazon or the Kindle, and you can start reading right after this session as well, and you will get many important yogas there. Okay, so DRS Barbary, Ketu Saturn conjunction in the 3rd house in Scorpio sign. Yes, when you have Saturn Ketu in the 3rd house of the horoscope, it shows that it shows that you will have some karma around your siblings, and it also shows that um you will have unique skills in your life. Subshivan Pillai, sir, Ketu and Saturn and Ketu along with Jupiter at Lagna in Sagittarius house. Let us know the effect. Yes, when you have Saturn Ketu conjunct into the 1st house along with Jupiter, Jupiter gets the strength here. Okay, and it shows you will be you will be kind of a person who is confident and will rely upon yourself. Okay, and you have capacity, you have some unusual physical capacities. Dr. Kankana Sarkar, Ketu and Saturn conjunction in the 12th house of Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, male, what does it signify? We already talked about this in uh, stream just few minutes back. Okay, Vinay Joshi ji, thanks a lot, sir. It's great to be in live session, always learning something new. See you soon in next live session. Sure. Shubh Shivan Pillai, sir. Yes. Ravi Yadav, sir. Saturn Ketu in the 7th. Ravi Chandra. If Saturn is poor in Bala, how can we interpret the conjunction if it's not a big part of your life and it's aspecting Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, and vice versa? Okay. It all depends upon the dasha. Okay. Which part of you is playing that? Shivan Pillai, sir, let me know the impact of Jupiter Ketu. We talked about that. DRS Barbary third. Subhajit Day. If Saturn Jupiter in the 5th house, does it mean I can't have good love life? Why do you think that? Most definitely you can have a good love life. And Sanjay Chudasma. To give more info, Saturn Saturn with Ketu, Saturn with Ketu plus Saturn plus Sun in Capricorn in sixth. I have seventh aspect from Mars, retro, plus Rahu from the 12th house. So all malefics aspect between sixth and 12th house. Okay, so what is your question, Sanjay ji? Neha ji is saying yes, very interesting. Thank you, Neha ji. Ashita Rao. Hi, sir. If Lagna Lord Saturn retro in Pisces, I don't know what's going on with Pisces today. Are you guys with me? Are you guys counting how many Pisces we have covered today? In Ketu Lagna, what does it mean? Aditya Ghai, Saturn, Jupiter in the first house, Capricorn. Naitik Shet, Saturn Ketu in 11th house in Pisces. Again a Pisces. Okay. Ankit Jain, Rahu Saturn Dasha going on till March 2023. Okay. Guys, if you're getting value from this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Subhajit, the astrologer said, as I have Jupiter and Saturn in the fifth house, so I should stay away from relationship. Please get me. I don't know why he said that. There may be something which he has observed, and that's why he must have predicted that. But just with Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in the fifth house, I don't see any problem with the love life. Sachin HS, sir, I'm Cancer ascendant. I have Venus Ketu conjunct in the third house in Navamsha in Scorpio. What does it shows? I don't know. Why I said I don't know? I just explained few minutes back because okay. So yes, this was Saturn Ketu conjunction as much as I could hold, grasp, and share with you guys. If you still have any question, share your question in the comment section. See you in the next live stream. Namaste.